Welcome to the Overseas Famous podcast, brought to you by Loot Mogul, the only metaverse for athletes where you can interact and meet and greet. My name is Kevin Owens. I am the host, and we are joined today. A very cool story. Marvin Smith Jr. Lots of adversity, lots of grit, lots of toughness to get where he is, where he just was part of the Rio Grande Valley Vipers, who won the G-League championship this year. So we're going to talk about that. Also, his journey from high school on to UNC Greensboro, and then where he had a few seasons overseas during the COVID era. So, Marvin, thank you so much for joining us. These are my favorite stories because it's very similar to me. Exposure camp, I had to kind of, I was at Monmouth, smaller school, smaller D1, had to kind of grind to get into the D League and then, move on. So your story is very similar. You had to kind of really grind it out, getting into UNC Greensboro. And then you start and you have to go to an open tryout for the G-League. So take us through that. You went to an open tryout for the G-League, which is something that is newer, where teams are bringing guys in and trying them out, and you were able to make the team, and not only make the team, but be successful. So take us through that open tryout from that start from college, where you kind of like played overseas a little bit, and then you went into that open tryout.
Okay, yeah. So like coming out of college, I was drafted by the Bulls G-League team, was with them for a short stint, ended up getting cut. And like you said, I went overseas for 2.5 years, played in Iceland, Germany, and Bulgaria. And then, like you were saying about this open tryout, so this last fall in September, with the G League is two parts of open tryout. It's an open tryout that they make open to the public, and then they have like an invite only open tryout. So I was a part of the invite only open tryout. It's probably about 25 guys there, 25 guys there, and they only take 2 guys from that whole open tryout to training camp. So I was one of those 2 guys that they ended up bringing in for training camp. And then like just because I made the training camp, my spot wasn't guaranteed. I still had my spot. So I was in the hotel for like 2.5, 3 weeks. It was a little frustrating. It's different, but like I said, made it through training camp and earned my spot on the team, and was on the team for the duration of the season.
I like the invincible kind of aspect where, they take on the Eagles, bringing in, because they have open tryouts now. Like you said, there's the invite only, and then there's just like an open tryout where just lifetime fitness MVPs can come and just try to make it onto a G League team. Yeah. And then you kind of have to make it to the next round, which is like the invite only. And then, there's a lot that goes into, and I think a lot of people underestimate how incredibly talented G League players are. I mean, you've obviously had tremendous success, but you end up going. Let's take us back to the beginning. So you get drafted right out of college by the G League Bulls team. Was that an exciting turn of events? Were you expecting that? I mean, you took your team to the NCAA tournament, so obviously you made a name for yourself at UNC Greensboro. Yeah. And then you kind of go into that next step, which is pro basketball, and go to the G League. So take us through that, where you initially start, you're like, holy shit, I'm going to play in the G League. You go into training camp.
Yeah, I mean, it was a surreal moment. Like I said, a dream of mine was always to be drafted, and it wasn't the NBA draft. I didn't get drafted in the NBA, but like to still see my name get selected in the G League NBA draft was like surreal. Like I said, my family got together, they was excited and pumped up. A lot of people from the city that I'm from was pretty much excited and reached out to me to congratulate me and stuff. So it was kind of surreal just to see that, and knowing and like, hey, I'm about to get ready to go, play in a step close from my dream in the NBA G League. So it was definitely a surreal feeling and moment. It's something that I won't forget and I hold on to for forever. Like I said, it was special to me just to see that, and getting that phone call from the front office people with the Windy City Bulls and talking to them and telling them how they were excited to have me and bringing me in. And then like the next day I had to fly out. So like the draft was on a Saturday, I'm having a get together with my family. We, you know what I'm saying, enjoying the moment. And like, I'm gonna get the phone call from him. I'm talking to him. He's like, yeah, well, we're gonna be booking your flight tomorrow. And then so my friend like, when you leave? I'm like, I'm leaving tomorrow. So they was like, oh, they was excited, but then they was also like kind of, you know what I'm saying, sad to see me leave, but they was also eager to see me move on to this next chapter in my professional career. Well, start this new chapter in my professional career.
Well, it's crazy because I always think about, even just dating myself, the 2003, it was called the D-League back before it was the G-League, and it was the MBDL.
Yeah.
And I've compared oftentimes to like the 60s or 70s. Like, you really didn't know, like what JJ Redick called like the plumbers and everyone, like those were the guys that were playing and you really didn't know who they were. It's just the NBA.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a big name. And I think about like when I got drafted, I just got a phone call and I was like, hey, we're drafting you. There was no like live stream.
Yeah.
It was just, it was all quiet. So it's really cool how much the G League has come, where it's, you know, it's a actual live draft. People can watch it, people can follow it online, and
Yeah.
you get your name called. It's just a really good experience because it's such an honor to get invited even into the G League, and I think it's just it's a really cool experience to have that prior to, you know, where you have to start going in. So you go into Windy City Bulls, you go through training camp before you head overseas. So you kind of go through, and everything doesn't always work out.
Yeah. Yeah. So I end up getting cut. And it was I done been through that before, so it was kind of frustrating because I, you know what I'm saying, put a lot of work going leading up into that season. And then like for the reason for me being cut, it was like it's just my shot just wasn't falling at that moment. It's like, man, I just spent a lot of time in the gym shooting. I've been known my career as a shooter, so it's like to be cut. The only reason just for not knocking down shots, it was like kind of frustrating, but it also was encouraging as well, because it gave me confidence, like, you know what I'm saying, I can play on that level. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know as basketball players, like shooters go through a stretch, a shooting slump, whatever. Like the best of them do it. It's crazy because that year that I got cut, Klay Thompson was going through a bad shooting stretch. And then like a couple of days before I got cut, Blade had played in Chicago, and that's when he like went off and had like 50, 60 points or something crazy like that. So like I said, just it was kind of frustrating, but also encouraging too as well, that like, hey, like they saying that the only reason I was getting cut was because my shot wasn't falling. They like my attitude, my approach, my skill set, and how versatile I was. So like I said, it gave me confidence, and then and it was good, you know what I'm saying, as I started to begin my professional career, that like, you know, as pros, you know what I'm saying, it's not like college where they committed to you for 4 years, or high school, when, you know what I'm saying, you got to produce or they're going to find somebody else. So it was good to learn that early. Because like I said, I moved on to overseas for 2.5 years. And even when I came back here to Rio Grande Valley, like I had that mentality in my mindset was like, yo, we need to produce right off the gate. Because you know how they're not going to wait on you. So that sense of urgency, you know what I'm saying, just helped me throughout my career. So it was, even though it wasn't how I wanted it to be and it didn't turn out with me making a team, it was a valuable lesson learned in that. So I wouldn't necessarily consider it as a loss or a failure. Like I learned from it and I grew, and it helped me, you know what I'm saying, lay on in my career.
Well, your mental approach is something that young athletes need to kind of grasp onto, because how you just described your handling of that situation, which is a very difficult situation, getting cut. You know, everything you've had, you give, and it's just like you have to get called in, and it happens to all of us. And I always say, you know, to be a pro athlete, you have to think you're the best, but always expect the worst. Like accept that that someone might cut you. Like you think you're the best, but someone might cut you, and you have to accept that. And it's a really tough, you know, balance to have to have this huge ego, but at the same time accept things. So your ability to do that is very honorable, and it's something that young people should listen to you speak and say, you know, this is you can bounce back, because then you head overseas, you head to Iceland, and you play. I mean, talk about holy shit adversity. You then you go to Iceland, you're there, and then the next year it's like COVID hits, so it's just like a topsy-turvy situation. So you head overseas, where you just kind of like, what, let's do this. When you heard Iceland, where you're like, let's go.
Nah, I mean, it's funny. So like this got cut probably like early November. So like from early November to I left to go to Iceland on the 1st of January 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So like from November to December to end of December, I was just waiting around, just trying to wait till that period overseas in mid-December when they make roster changes and stuff. And I talked to my agent, like, we have some interest from this team. But nobody really came through and like pulled the offer. So like that was also tough to just go through that, just sitting around back home, like waiting on a phone call to go play somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And seeing, other guys play basketball and stuff, and knowing that, I have aspirations of being a professional basketball player, and just waiting on that first like contract and opportunity to go and, prove myself. And the way I ended up in Iceland it's crazy. So like the coach, Chris Carrad, he reached out to me on Facebook. So he reached out to me and my agent through Facebook, was like, hey, are you interested in, coming over here? I don't know how he found me or whatever, how he found my agent. But he reached out to us. We didn't, and he was like, man, I know that, and it was the second division Iceland, which not too many, like it's the second division Iceland. So that level, not many people heard of that league. Then I got a funny story when I get to Germany with the GM ended up telling me. I'll get to that later, but he was like, man, I know this is like you're a way higher caliber player than here, but so I just want to give you an opportunity to just come here and just show your full skill set and play, and get you some numbers and film out there, so you're just not sitting around and not doing anything, and taking a whole year off and not playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it was a humbling experience for me, because here I go from just 3 months ago, like people all across the world see my name on the G-League draft, to like now I'm going over to the second division in Iceland, where it's like 10, 15 people in the stands. And this is before COVID. So, I'm saying? Like 10, 15 people stands in the stands before COVID. So like I said, it was just a humbling experience for me. But like when I went over there, I was like, hey, all right, let's do it. And I took full advantage of the opportunity. I went over, I was averaging like 25 and like 13, or 26 and 13 or something like that. And like I said, I just was, only thing I cared about was like helping the team, the young guys, and putting my team in a position to win. We didn't win no championship or anything, but I made very useful of my time over there, and I took advantage of the opportunity that he presented me with, and I thank him for that, even till to this day, because it kind of jump-started my career, and everybody's path and journey is different. And like I said, it was just crazy just how that worked out. Like I said, he literally just reached out to me on Facebook, and that's how my first professional contract came about, was through a guy reaching out to me on Facebook and asking me, would I like to come play for his team.
Gotta love social media.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of hit on something. There's these different spots. So you kind of went in January. There's these different spots with overseas where, there's the July signings, or June and July signings, which are, the team pretty much immediately, I'm going to scoop this guy up. It's like the start of free agency. Then you have the August signings, where it's like, okay, let me fill out our roster. Let me figure out what else we need. Then you have like the September and October, which is like, this guy's not working out. It's early, let's replace. And then you have the January signings, which is the break. You have the holiday break, and then suddenly guys are like, this isn't working out, let's go. And then you have the pre-playoff kind of guys that get signed. So there's these different windows of opportunity. So you go during that time to Iceland, and obviously, basketball is basketball. Your ability to play, you go there and you show that you can play, which leads you to your next job, which is like why, sometimes you got to grind it out. Sometimes you got to play in a place where you're just like, this isn't where I know I'm capable of playing, but it's going to get me to where I'm going to go.
And like I said, one of my things I just tell myself, like you said, it's my love for the game of basketball is what drives me more than the monetary compensation, or you know what I'm saying, proving it. Like it's my love of the game. So like if it's an opportunity for me to play basketball, I'm going to take it. You know what I'm saying? If it's gonna help me and benefit me, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna take it and take full advantage of it. And like I'm not too prideful to play the game of basketball anywhere. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? It's one of the things I constantly just tell myself, like, never feel like you too good for anything or anybody. You know what I'm saying? Just treat everybody and treat you know what I'm saying, how they respect and love for the game.
That's like I said, I love the attitude. It's what is needed within. I mean, we need to have every overseas athlete listen to this because the ability to a lot of egos play in, and we all have egos, but a lot of egos play in, and it might limit your
And
success.
and the ego is needed because that's what drives you to, like you said, you know what I'm saying, feel the best and be the best possible person you can be. But um one of my closest friends and trainers, Jackie Manuel, he just shared it with me this past summer. And it's like you got ego one and ego two. And ego one is the one who's always want to, you know what I'm saying, prove and show that I can do this and all that. But you have ego two is just saying, just let it flow and just let things naturally happen and don't worry about anything. Just go with the flow. And like I said, man, it's I had that approach before that, but when he shared it with me this past summer, it helped put me in a different state mentally as I approach like this, what's next for me coming up.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So you obviously you continue your career overseas. You head to Germany, where you playing in Germany, which is a great league to play in, and
Yeah.
you're there. Take us through that experience because Germany is a cool place.
Yeah. No,
It's a chill place. I feel like people are real cool and they like the game, so it's like a
yeah.
lot of fun to play there.
Yeah. So like, I mean, Iceland, I enjoy. Like each place I played in overseas was very special and unique. Like Iceland, just naturally, it was just a beautiful place to be at. You know what I'm saying? If anybody had a chance to visit Iceland, they definitely should do it. Because I mean, summer, wintertime, when I got there, I only had sunlight for like 3 days, but like just to see the mountains and the snow was beautiful. And they said in the summertime it's beautiful. And like you said, I go on to Germany, and like I said, it wasn't that much of a culture shift as it was in Iceland.
Hmm.
Like you said, the fans was very passionate about the game. So I was in Pro A, the second division Germany, which is a, you know what I'm saying, respectable league, good league to be
Hmm.
playing, especially early in your career. And like our games used to be pretty packed. Like this, like you said, they love the game of basketball over there. So it was good to go through that, and I ended up signing with them late. So like you were saying, like it's those windows. So I signed the first week of September. They had a guy to get injured, and they needed to fill a roster spot. So I had my college teammate Deontay Baldwin. He just signed to go overseas in Croatia, but he was on the team, and my agent had a connection with the coach, so it was kind of just like a perfect match. Like the coach reached out to my agent, and then he asked my teammate about me. My teammate was like, "What? Yeah, like that's the guy you want on your team." So like I said, I'm 100% sure their expectation for me was not high because, like I said, they had their team built, and they just had a guy get injured and they needed to fill a roster spot. So I ended up coming over there late, um, and like I just had that same approach of just always working hard and just being ready and staying ready. And I come out in the first game, and I come off the bench too as well. I came off the bench majority of the season until the end of the season. But like I said, first game I had like 22 and like 9 or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I led the team in scoring and like second in rebounding. And like that was a guy that they ended up signing late who they didn't, you know what I'm saying, initially had plans for. And like throughout the first, like I said, month of the season, I was leading the team in scoring and second in rebounding, was shooting like 40% from three, like the whole nine. So like I said, the opportunity presented itself and I just took full advantage of it. And then I go through that season through November, December, little highs and lows, ups and downs, inconsistent playing time, and all that stuff, and stay with it, and then get on to January, and we had a coaching change. And then I had probably my biggest game over there that I had like 27-10. And it was a game that like our interim coach, like he was on the hot seat. They was like, you know what I'm saying, it's do or die. Either giving you a chance, either you win, we'll keep you around, you lose, we just gonna have to find somebody else to coach the team for the rest of the season. And it was funny, he came up to me and my college teammate, Deontay, and was saying that, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna need y'all boys tonight. And you know what I'm saying, that game I went on, I had 27-10. We ended up beating that team, and they was like in the fourth place team. So it was a real win, and the community and the organization was happy about it. So it was good to go through that. And then, like I said, we continue to trend towards the right direction. We had a talented team, and then that's when COVID broke. And that's like, we heard about it, and then we was in the weight room, like, hey, it's starting to spread. I get home from the weight room, the Pro A put a pause to the season. Then, like, the next day, they say they meeting over, and they'll let people know in the morning what they're going to do. The next morning, they cancel the rest of the season. And, like, in a matter of, like, 48 hours, 72 hours, we went from thinking we was going to have a game that weekend to, like, planning to go home.
Wow.
It was, like, crazy. And then another thing, I end up, like, catching COVID at that same time. So I'm like, and I didn't find out till I got back to the States. So I was feeling a little off. And I reached out to him, like, man, I'm not feeling too good. And like, man, well, we're going to get you a ticket. You know what I mean? Your ticket is, you know what I'm saying, here to head back. When I got back home, like, man, I'm not feeling well. I'm just not feeling well. So I ended up resting. And the next morning, I had to go to the yard and come to find out I had COVID. So that was crazy as well.
That's nuts. So, and not to get sidetracked with the COVID talk, but like it's crazy because I remember I got COVID, but I got it, I guess like last December, or I guess this past December. So, but to get it that soon when you were like, holy shit, like you don't know what this is, you don't know what it's going to be, you're hearing people are dying from it, and all of a sudden you catch it and you're like, oh shit, like was that a scary moment? I mean, you're over in a foreign country too, like that's scary.
Yeah, like, I mean, it hit me pretty bad. Like the first initial day when I was overseas and I was traveling back, I just felt a little off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I said, I got home, I tried to eat and have much of appetite. So I'm like, I'm gonna just get some rest. Maybe it's been a lot going on the past couple of days. I'm just mentally and physically probably exhausted. So let me just get home and just rest. And then I woke up the next morning and I had to be rushed to the ER because I had trouble breathing and stuff. And, you know what I'm saying? It hit me pretty hard, but
wow,
I was able to, you know what I'm saying, fight through it and bounce back from it.
That's great. I mean, it's definitely scary, but that's great. So you end up, so let's go into the coaching thing. I think is so cool because your coach is on the hot seat, you end up playing well, that bond definitely grows. And I feel like those coaches overseas, they remember that shit. So it's like they'll put in a good word. So you do these little things. I mean, I've gotten a job because a coach liked how I did something and they told another coach that they're friends with who then signed me. So I think there's that whole carousel goes. But you said your coach mentioned something about Iceland, and I feel like this will be
yeah.
fun.
So the GM, the actual GM of the Germany team, he was I think this was like after like the first month of the season. I was playing well, and he was like, man, like we really did a good job with signing. He was like, I'm not gonna lie to you, when coach told me that you played in the second division Iceland, I almost told him like, get the shit out of my face, because he's like, there's no real basketball over there in the second division Iceland. And he was, so that was just kind of, you know what I'm saying, funny. It just goes to show that like we were saying just about the egos thing, man, like obviously like everybody has their goals and their dreams that they working towards, but like never feel like you too small or you too big to, you know what I'm saying, go somewhere where opportunity presents itself at, because you never know, you know what I'm saying, where the opportunity may lead to next.
Now let's go into you come back home, you're with we talked about how you came about with the Rio Grande Valley Vipers. Like you said, you had some ups and downs with them as well, but then you guys go on to win a championship. So I think there's like a people don't really realize, and I think about businesses and stuff, and like they don't really realize like how cool that is to win a championship. They're like, well, it's a G League championship, and you're like, so the fuck what? Like the guys in business win like our South Jersey, or like certain areas, small areas think that we're the best in South Jersey or something, and that's like they're putting it all over their walls. They don't really understand how big of a opportunity and how big of a accomplishment that was. So when you guys, was that something where you're like, when you guys were winning it all, was the celebration like legit? Were you guys just like, hell yes, like we just won, we are celebrating?
It was, man, it was definitely legit, man. Winning is contagious, man, and it's a special feeling. I've been fortunate enough to win a state championship in high school. Like I said, I was a captain and led my team to winning a conference championship, regular season and tournament, and playing the NCAA tournament. And even like when I played in Bulgaria the year before I got to Rio Grande Valley, that team won 4 games that whole year. And when I was playing there, we ended up finishing at this regular season in 4th place. So just seeing how they reacted to just winning, like I said, winning is a special and a unique feeling. Can't really put the words on exactly that feeling, but like once when you experience it, it's like to me, it's like a high. You know what I'm saying? It's like none other, and I constantly crave it. So like I said, after winning the D-League championship, man, it was legit, man. We had like a little parade. All the fans down there, man, down Rio Grande Valley are special and amazing, man. They came out in support and showed a lot of love, and it was just good just to see that community and that city down there embrace us, and us bringing the championship back down there to them, and how, because they don't have many pro sports down there, so like the Vipers is like everything to them, you know what I'm saying? So it's like to see that impact on that community and that city, man, it was a special feeling.
You're right. And we talk about a lot with like how overseas basketball set up. And we talked about, the second division Germany, but at the same time, it's a town that you're representing in Germany. And while that town could be back up into the top league pretty soon. So they support the town, and we don't really have that. We have like the NBA teams and we have the minor league teams, but we don't really have that up and down, relegation, things like that, which would be interesting if they did, make things a lot more interesting. But definitely the community would appreciate you guys winning. I know Rio Grande, I want to say they're like one of the older teams now. I know
one of the most successful teams too as well. So like that was this past year, after when it was the 4th time they won a championship over, I think, a span of 10 years or something like that.
Jeez.
So like, man, the organization down there, man, do a good job of like showing the value in like winning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it shows over, you know what I'm saying, the course of the years of like them constantly winning championships. Like I said, just the whole setup and approach down there, it's like second to none. From the facilities, you know what I'm saying, to how, you know what I'm saying, the players and stuff is taken care of and all that stuff. Like they just do a great job of putting their players in a position to not only develop and grow, because honestly, like the G League is a development program. And it's like I said, it took tremendous steps over the years, man. And it's trending in the right direction. But like a lot of G League teams is just there for development. But Rio Grande Valley do a great job of not only developing us as players, because I feel like everybody went down there and made the most of their opportunities, and guys is going on to get new jobs and stuff. So not only do they do value development, but they also value winning. You know what I'm saying? And so it was good to be a part of that organization.
I just think I'm like thinking back to my time, and like Rio Grande, they weren't there yet, but they were like one of those teams. I think once I don't even know who we became. Like I was with the Roanoke Dazzle, and every team like became defunct and then just went and became something else. So it's funny to see, all these teams kind of like everything was Southeast. Now it like moved over to the West, and now it's like everywhere.
Yeah.
So Marvin, the cool thing, you've been part of all these different things. You've gone overseas. You've won a championship in the G League. you're on to success. You've obviously worked so hard, and now you have this, there's things out there for you. There's jobs out there for you. You've partnered with Loop Mogul, which is super cool. We've talked about them and every podcast. So that you just have created this whole success based on just hard work and not giving up, which is so cool to see. And that's a lesson for everyone out there that, you can keep pushing, keep going, and success will find you if you have the work ethic, and you certainly do. And we are so excited to have you on to talk a little bit about this. And we will have to stay in touch, keep this story going. But again, we appreciate you, Marvin, so much for hopping on and telling your story today.
All right. Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you. This has been Overseas Famous Podcast. This has been Kevin Owens and Marvin Smith Jr. We'll see you guys next time.